It's not easy at the moment. Apparently, my latest article about a mysterious disappearance in Forgotten Hollow wasn't very well received. Which is weird, because I have evidence that witches were behind it, and exposing the occult is exactly what this online magazine is trying to do. Yes, I know I'm a journalist, not a cop like you, but aren't we both supposed to seek the truth? That's where our jobs overlap.
Listen up, you lazy bunch of losers. I just read through our latest reviews, and to put it mildly, they leave a lot to be desired, stylistically and content-wise.
The chief editor is here. We'll talk later.
Knudsen, nice article, but too many grammatical and spelling errors, no content notes. Most of our readers may be dumb enough not to notice the former, but they'll definitely get worked up about sensitive topics, and we don't have the budget for more in-depth copy editing and sensitivity reading at the moment, not with some of those freelancers charging an entire daily wage per hour.
But I'm an artist. My writing style isn't full of errors, it's art.
And when you're painting, or making flower bouquets, or whatever boring stuff you do for fun in your free time, that might matter. But if you want to keep your job here, go back to school and improve your writing skills. Understood?
Yes, Miss Knox.
Bennett, your article about witches in Glimmerbrook reads like a fantasy novel, which would be great if this was still the publishing company that brought out Tiamo Mamminis' first book. But today, it's the office of a respectable online magazine. So next time, do your research and provide actual evidence to back up your claims. Because a reader called Eva_P disproved them all in a single lengthy letter to the editor that I had to read.
Yes, Miss Knox.
And Chopra, a missing person case again? Really?
Well, we've had occult-related disappearances before, right? Remember Audrey Grande?
Please, that was 30 years ago. The only witness was a confused little farm boy, and his parents claimed that girl was just a figment of his imagination to begin with. But even if she was real, whether or not she was actually abducted by occults has never been proven.
About time then, don't you think? Moon News should have looked into it more.
But they got sloppy, which is why the magazine was ultimately discontinued, and we're trying to revive it under a different name. The last thing we need is a repetition of past mistakes, so stop playing detective in cases you can't solve and focus on writing entertaining, but also factual articles that people want to read. I'm expecting a new pitch by the end of the week.
But never mind. Yes, Miss Knox.
Now back to work, everybody. I'm not paying you to sit on your hands. And always remember what Lunar Ticker stands for. Go woke or go broke.
I can't believe Miss Knox would get mad at me for something like this. And where does she expect me to find inspiration for an entirely new article so quickly? I promised my readers I was going to continue that story.
Give me all your money and credit cards, now.
What's going on over there?
What are you waiting for, old frump? Do you think this is funny? How about I put a bullet right between your eyes? Let's see who will be laughing then. Are you even listening to me?
Sorry, I just can't help it. You'll go down in history as the unluckiest robber of all time.
What do you mean?
Me, really? Streets full of helpless mortals, yet out of all the people you could have robbed, you just had to choose me.
I've had enough of your bullshit.
Funny. That's what I was going to say.
Then his pistol was suddenly gone. It just disappeared into thin air, and she stripped down his pants, laughing, without laying a finger on him.
She never touched him? Then what makes you think she did anything at all?
What else could it have been? The wind? No way. I'm telling you, that old lady was a witch, and she used magic to defend herself. That could be fodder for my new article.
Depends. What happened next?
The robber got scared and ran away, right into the arms of a police officer who arrested him for flaunting his underwear in public. The woman was gone before I could interview her, but I took a photo of her with my mobile. Doesn't she look like a witch to you too?
She looks like... I am Mammini.
Wait a second. You know her.
Only by name. She's from Windenburg, or at least I think she's, because Mayor Von Hinton keeps inviting her to our oldest family's meetings at City Hall. There's going to be another one of those later this month. No one really likes them, but almost everybody usually shows up. You should come by if you want to meet her again.
But I'm from Willow Creek. They won't want me at a meeting of Windenburg's oldest families. What did you say her last name was?
Mammini.
Any chance she might be related to Tiamo Mammini, that famous artist who came out of nowhere just a couple of years ago?
Possibly. It's not exactly a common surname. Sirius, hack into City Hall and research that for us, please.
Scanning citizen directory. Please wait. Success. Tiamo Mammini is the son of Mammini.
That's another thing I've always wondered about. Until very recently, not a single soul had heard of Tiamo Mammini. Then the guy publishes one book, the entire world suddenly goes crazy about him, and everything he's done since then, his music, his art, his other books, even just criticizing other people's work, only made him even more famous. How do you go from nobody to global superstar like that? Unless your mother is a witch, of course.
Perhaps you shouldn't read a conspiracy theory into every little thing you see or hear.
Says Barani, the most paranoid person I know, while we're sitting in the hidden underground bunker that Z calls home.
They, if you please. My preferred pronoun is, and has always been, they.
Oh, I'm so sorry. They, of course. It's just, I know so many people who identify as non-binary, it can be hard to remember who uses which neopronouns.
That's news to me. How many others do you know?
Well, there's my otherworldly chief editor, Miss Knox, and I'm pretty sure my cousin's cat thinks she's a male.
Didn't you say your chief editor was an alien though? They're a monogendered race that humans perceive as female, which is why they usually go by she, her. Definitely not a neopronoun. And that cat sounds like it's trans, not non-binary. Get your terminology straight, Chopra.
Now you sound just like Miss Knox.
Then listen to her, because that seems to be one thing she's right about.
Are you mad at me now?
No, of course not. Why would I be?
I can't believe Barani would get mad at me for something like this. Oh well, at least they told me the witch's name. And while I don't know where she is now, it can't be too hard to figure out where her son will be in the next few days.
The handsome vampire sailor's fangs penetrated the fisherwoman's clear white skin, just as his flagship came into her port. For the first time in her life, she felt that she was the luckiest among her female co-workers, having caught the biggest fish by far.
Jesus, who reads this kind of filth?
Certainly not Jesus.
Hush!
And that night, her climax was more than just a short, fleeting moment of great pleasure. It was the beginning of her eternity. Thank you all for your attention.
Uff. How did I manage to sit through all of this?
Not a fan of romance literature, I assume.
Romance. That was nothing but smut.
It's Tiamo Mammini. What did you expect? Why did you even come to the launch party of his newest book, if you're so appalled by his usual content?
Because I'd hoped it would turn out more entertaining than an hour in the waiting room of Beryl's dentist. I was wrong.
Well, I'm positive your sister has it worse than you at the moment. By the way, doesn't she go to the same school as Tiamo's little sister, Wilbica?
I think so, yeah. That family is everywhere, like it or not.
Really? What school is that?
Newcrest Secondary School, but who are you again?
Oh, I'm nobody. Just a fan.
I know you don't need to hear it, but this was spectacular. You can count on a nomination for the next Starlight Accolades in Del Sol Valley.
Since when do they have porn without plot as a category for best-selling novels?
Since I bribed the organizer.
Charmaine, you're the best. I'll make sure to mention you in my acceptance speech.
Excuse me, Mr. Mammini. Could I have a moment of your time?
Mr. Mammini, why so formal? I'm sure we'll get past this rather quickly once you tell me where you want your autograph.
Actually, I want to ask a question. You tend to include many occult characters in your novels, such as vampires in 69 Shades of Midnight, and witches in Cherry Popper and the Chamber of Secretions. Is there anything in your real life that inspires these supernatural elements?
Well, I could tell you everything about this, but it's probably best if I show you.
Show me. Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me? Wake up.
Oh. Ouch. What happened?
That's what I was going to ask. Are you okay?
I don't know. My neck hurts, Feels like something bit me.
Sounds about right. There's a bite wound in your neck. A rather large one too. You should get that checked out.
Yeah, I probably should. Thanks. I'm more certain than ever that there is something supernatural going on with that family. Tiamo Mammini didn't tell me so directly, but through the bite marks he left. He must be a vampire, his mother is a witch, and now I wonder what the girl might be. Her name is Wilbica, and according to someone I met at today's launch party, she attends Newcrest Secondary School. That's where I'll go tomorrow, and I'm determined to find out if they are in any way related to that most recent disappearance in Forgotten Hollow.
Mr. Sandz has outdone himself once again. That was the most boring fucking physics lesson of the century.
You only found it boring because you didn't understand it.
Daisy, please.
My name is David Sylvester.
Even if your name was Patrick Starr, and your best friend was a talking sponge, you couldn't be dumb enough not to know the difference between a white and a brown dwarf by now.
Of course. One is white and one is brown. Mr. Sanders has explained it enough times already, as did my aunt in her guest lecture.
My point exactly. When do we finally get to the juicy stuff?
Well, now is the time. They have juice at the cafeteria.
No, I mean... Right. Go ahead, be a good boy and drink your juice at the cafeteria. I'll go to the next class early.
See you there, Wilbica.
Fucking moron. I fear for my own IQ if I have to keep repeating this bullshit grade a few more times.
That's quite a foul mouth for a little girl.
And that's quite the strong opinion for some trespasser I don't give a rat's ass about.
What did you call me?
The only adults allowed on the school premises are parents and staff, but I've never seen you before, so unless you're here to apply for a job as toilet cleaning lady, take your unwanted opinions and piss off.
Harsh words, but she wasn't lying about our house rules. May I help you with something, miss?
Maybe. Could you tell me more about Wilbica Mammini? Where she lives, for example. A girl attending a school in Newcrest couldn't possibly live in a remote district like Forgotten Hollow, could she?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that. You see, this is exactly why we don't allow adults on the premises. To protect our students from potential stalkers and child molesters.
Seriously? Do I look like a child molester to you? I can't believe you would accuse an innocent woman like me of something horrible like that, but not the scary big guy I saw outside.
What big guy?
Tall, muscular, was trying to drag some teenage girl into his car. I assumed he was her father at first, but now that I'm thinking about it again.
What? I have to take a look at that.
Take your time. Let's see. They must have files on the students somewhere. There, Mammini, Wilbica. 5 Forgotten Hollow Road in. Who would have guessed? Forgotten Hollow.
I was too late. If the guy you mentioned dragged that girl into his car, then... Hey, what are you doing?
Chatting with my best friend.
Breaking into a school and searching the secretary's computer for some brat's address, huh? That's a little extreme, even for you, Chopra.
Oh, come on. I was just researching for an article. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing at school, among other things, research? Can't believe a teaching facility would get mad at me for abiding by its own stupid rules.
You always say that after offending somebody. Kind of ironic considering the motto your employer lives by. Go woke or go broke, something like that? So what the hell has gotten into you?
Okay, I'm sorry. If that's what you want me to say.
It's a start, but not nearly enough. You have to tell me what's going on.
Well, I know you told me to let it go, as did Miss Knox, but I just couldn't. That missing person case I told you about on the phone. I believe that this girl's family is involved. They live in Forgotten Hollow, and they're occults.
Tell the police then.
I already did, but you're not doing anything about it.
Well, I can't just go to Forgotten Hollow, a place way outside my jurisdiction by the way, and arrest some random family based on nothing but my own cousin's wild suspicions. Do you have any actual proof?
None that I can. Well, prove. Listen, I know how this looks, but... Oh, never mind. Let's just get it over with. What happens now? Is your stern colleague going to arrest me?
Not this time. I was able to convince him that you don't pose a threat. But if something like this happens again...
It won't, I promise. Thank you, Crispin.
Do you need a ride home? Or to work?
In a police car. No thanks. I can take care of that myself.
Fine. Just stay out of trouble, cousin, okay?
I will. After today. This must be it. Let's see if anyone's home. Now look at that. It's not like I didn't already know she was a witch, but everybody else will also believe it at last, once I show them footage of this. Good dog. You may look a little strange, but that doesn't mean you can't be a good boy, right? Or girl. Shit. Now even dogs get mad at me for misgendering them.
Bitch, I told you 100 times not to bark so wildly for no reason. Or was the postman late again? Never mind, I'll check it out later.
Looks like a witch's cauldron. Interesting, but no surprise. Miss Knox and the police wanted proof. I'll give them some. And now, let's see what other magical secrets are hiding in the basement. Maybe the 3 missing boys. A witch would definitely keep kidnapped children in her basement, wouldn't she?
There you are. Did you catch whatever crawled up your ass and died there? What's wrong?
What the hell is that? Not the kind of prison I was expecting, but maybe. Hello. Is anyone down there? Don't worry, you're safe with me. I'm not the Wicked Witch.
No, you're just a fucking burglar. Looking for someone?
You. I don't know what you need those children for, but let them go now, or else I'll call the police. My cousin is with them, he won't let you off the hook easily.
No idea what drugs you're on, but in case you're referring to those 3 mischievous boys who went missing shortly before Christmas, yes, that happened. But they have since been reunited with their families and learned their lesson never to piss me off again.
So it was you who kidnapped them?
And you just broke into my home. Care to explain who you are and what you're doing here?
I'm a journalist working for Lunar Ticker. My name is Jillian Chopra. Remember that, because I'm going to expose you and your entire family as evil witches, vampires, and who knows what else. Let's see how that will affect your son's celebrity status, or your daughter's chances of ever getting proper education that doesn't bore her as much as her current school.
We'll see about that.
What? No.
No? Why not?
I can't believe you would get mad at me for calling you out on your wickedness. Shows just how evil you are. But you better think twice about putting any hexes on me, or hurting me. Others know that I'm here, and they'll come looking for me.
You don't sound so sure. Only one way to find out if you're telling the truth. Insolent twat. No one threatens my family and lives to tell the tale.
I tell that to the postman every single day, yet he keeps coming back with even more letters.
Oh well. Speaking of my family, Wilbica should be home from school soon. Let's see what's for lunch today, shall we?
As long as those lunch plans include me as well. Excuse me?
Wow. I had no idea, Mum. When did you say this happened? Back in January?
Around that time, yes. I think it was the day Mayor von Hinton invited us to her oldest family's meeting.
And how the fuck are you only thinking of that now? There was nothing about it in your crime journals either.
As I told you earlier, those journals are for my mischievous deeds. Protecting my family from a dangerous journalist who threatened my children and tried to expose our secrets is not mischief. And I'm an old woman, you can't expect me to remember everything I've ever done.
What made you remember it now?
The moon crest logo on my old Moon News issues that we dug up in Henford on Bagley. Aya thought she had seen it recently, so we googled it on our way back and found out that Moon News has since turned into an online magazine called Lunar Ticker, which still uses the same logo.
Exactly, and that's who that bitch said she was working for. No offense, bitch.
Too late to offend me now. I finally have something to eat, that's all I care about.
Gillian Chopra. Doesn't ring a bell, but it has to be our missing Jill. Not that it helps our case. Even if we manage to recover her body, what do we do with it?
So we assume she's dead.
She was thrown into the wishing well almost a year ago. If she was still alive, surely she would have crawled back out by now.
Not necessarily. We know that the well is some kind of portal. Jaden and I used it to travel through time once.
You did what?
Forget it. But even if we find her, bringing her back may not be the best idea, as long as we don't know who is sending us those messages about her.
Maybe there's someone in this room who knows more.
What's that supposed to mean?
There she was, famous fashion designer Bigly, on her way to the Mammini's house, her handbag giving off a very familiar send-off. Well.
Blood? When we got close enough to the house to peek through a window, she had already started painting the kitchen wall.
I'm not entirely sure. Might be nothing.